Fitting this committee meeting in between conference committee, and we have several leaders that need to go in separate ways, but I appreciate everybody being here today. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Storm.
Here.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Nemes.
Present.
Senator Mills.
I'm here, and we have a quorum. We're duly constituted to do our business here today. First on the agenda, we're going to hop around here a little bit, is House Bill 517. It's Speaker Pro Tem Meade and guests. If you can introduce yourself for the record, and the floor will be yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am David Meade, Speaker Pro Tem of the House, and I have with me Eric Lykin, General Counsel for the Speaker's Office.
All righty.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that this bill is pretty clean. There's no committee substitute or anything to it, but I'll go through it very, very quickly. This is an ethics bill. We're changing a few things in it due to some issues that have arisen here lately. But first off, when a legislator makes a request for an advisory opinion, the commissioner will give a draft of the response. Then the person making the request may, if they choose, go before the commission to advocate for or against the opinion. The reason for this is many times we've submitted opinions and we've asked for that advisory opinion. However, that has not come back. This just states that they must do that. I will also say, though, that this does not affect the informal advisory process that they currently have. If they come back with an opinion that is acceptable and everyone is in agreement with it, there is no reason to proceed with that. After the filing of a complaint and the response time has ended, the commission may dismiss the claim out of hand as they do now. However, if that is not dismissed, the complaint must be brought before the entire commission, where they will vote to allow or dismiss the complaint. 5 commissioners must vote affirmatively in order for the complaint to continue on. I'll give you an example of this. We had a colleague that had a complaint filed against them. Due to one unilateral decision, that complaint carried on. It went before the entire commission for the hearing. After the hearing was over, the commission said there was nothing here. There was no sense in even having to bring them forward. So this will eliminate that in the future, and that will save a lot of heartache and headache and time. It clarifies an elected official, officer of a federal, state agency, government employee, employees of state colleges, universities, or political subdivisions operating in their fiduciary duty is not a legislative agent. It also clarifies that lobbying does not include a person whose official responsibilities do not include lobbying, is not compensated specifically for that purpose of lobbying, or is participating in a meeting with a legislative agent. It also clarifies that a legislator can represent a client on licensing and permitting matters relating to the defense of pre-existing licensing and permits. And that is all the bill does, Mr. Chairman.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Nemes. Any questions from our board? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Does she want to vote?
Senator, this is House Bill 517. We've already started. Do you want to vote yea or nay on that? Or want us to come back to you in just a
No,
second?
Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to vote no, thank you.
Okay.
Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 517 passes with favorable expression 9-2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Next item, we have another member of House leadership who want to get out of the room quick is Leader Rudy. And we have House Bill 622. We want to be nice to our leaders today. If you can introduce yourself for the record, sir, and the floor will be yours.
Chairman Mills, senators of the committee, Stephen Rudy, House District Number 1, hopefully presenting before a Senate committee for the final time that involves my good dear friend, Leader Thayer, and I want to thank him for his service for many years. And I know he's drawing toward the end of his legislative career, but not our friendship. Prior to 1913, members of the General Assembly of Kentucky decided who our United States senators were. And then in 1913, the Constitution of the United States was amended to allow for election by popular vote of the electorate, the United States senators from each individual state. House Bill 622 deals with a not often used section of the Constitution, but provided under the 17th Amendment. I'd like to read you directly what the 17th Amendment says. When vacancies happen in the representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of such state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. That's all this bill does. Now, it does give a providing that an individual legislature could or may allow a governor to make an appointment. That has been the law in this state since the 17th Amendment. But in 2008, the state, we have a big state, and many people don't realize this, but in far western Kentucky, we're in the Illinois media market. And I learned a lot about Senate replacement in 2008 because President Barack Obama, then United States Senator, had been elected. And the governor of that state went to federal prison for trying to sell a U.S. Senate seat. That really gave me a lot of heartburn. And then about, from 2009 on till about 2017, I didn't get a lot of bills through the House for some reason. But in 2017, legislation started picking up and it became more favorable. But I wanted to talk about this. But leadership said, no, you're the A&R chair, so just focus on the budget. So that was fun for a while. But now that I'm in leadership and can kind of do some policy stuff, I wanted to go back and revisit this. So I bring to you House Bill 622 today for your
Motion on the bill.
So a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Elkins, I believe. Any other further questions of Leader Rudy? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer.
Mr. Chairman, can I explain my vote?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I vote aye. And Leader Rudy, it's great to have you in Senate committee today. And it is optimistic of you to say this may be the last time we have a state and local government committee meeting, because with all these House bills suddenly flooding the committee on committees, it's quite likely we'll have another meeting next week, according to our chairman. I think this is a good approach, and I'm surprised that my colleague sitting to my right, notice I don't say my colleague to the right because that would be inaccurate, but my colleague sitting to the right voted no because her party's governor said we should let the people decide in the event of a vacancy. So I'm a little surprised. I vote aye. Thanks for bringing this bill.
Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 622 passes with favorable expression 10-1. Congratulations, Leader Rudy.
Thank you, Chairman Mills, senators of the committee.
Next is House Bill 53. And Representative Hodgson and his guests have to get somewhere pretty quick, so we'll let them get up here as quickly as possible. Now, this is House Bill 53. If y'all can introduce yourselves for the record, and the floor will be yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Hodgson, State Representative, District 36 in Jefferson.
Jason Denny, Anderson County Clerk and Kentucky County Clerks Association Treasurer.
Thank you, guys. Move forward.
Thanks, sir. Election transparency is vital to our citizens, and House Bill 53 provides an extra layer of protection for our citizens. Right now, we have a process in every county where there's a pre-certification of the scanners that goes on. They're mapped, they run test ballots through, and they make sure everything's right. What we lack is a process on the back end to make sure that happened correctly and the scanner hadn't been tampered with or hacked. Although this body has made it a felony to interfere with a scanner or to connect it to the internet. So what House Bill 53 does is provides that after every election, the Secretary of State will randomly select one scanner in each county, one race on that scanner, and through the county boards of elections, they'll appoint one Democrat, one Republican to sit down and do what we call a hand-eye recount, actually handle the ballots, turn them over one at a time, and agree on the count between the Republican and Democrat. When that process is complete, they compare that to the tally sheet that was produced on election night and signed by the election officers, and is obviously
Motion
not
on the
altered.
bill.
Motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Nemes. Would you guys like to finish your explanation?
No, sir, go right ahead.
Okay. Yep. Senator McDaniel has a question. Oh, sorry. Senator Williams has a question.
So on the oversight of this, back on page 9, we changed from the State Board of Elections to the Secretary of State. What was the reasoning on that?
The page 9. It's because it's the Secretary of State who's actually doing the selection of the random scanner number. So that's the direction that's referenced there.
Would this prohibit a county from auditing additional precincts like has occurred in Boone County? They typically do 4 every election.
Jason, you want to speak to that? I don't think so. Shouldn't affect the ability at all.
I don't know of any prohibition from that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Senator McDaniel.
Representative, I think I just misheard you. You said we did make it a felony to attempt to connect a scanner to the internet.
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions from the committee? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 53 passes with favorable expression, 11-0. Any interest in consent? Yes, motion for consent. Senator Thayer has a motion for consent. All in favor of moving this to our consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good, gentlemen. This moves to our consent agenda.
Thank you very much.
If you can bring your guests to the table and introduce yourselves for the record.
Hello, thank you, members of the committee. I appreciate you all having us this morning. I am Samara Heavrin, State Representative for the 18th District, and I will let my guest introduce himself.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Wagner. I'm a retired sheriff, and I'm the Executive Director of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning.
Very good. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The purpose of this bill is to clarify the original intent. Currently in the statute, the only people that are exempt from the overtime with flexible scheduling are merged governments and local city police. And so recently in an audit done, my sheriff got hit because they didn't consider the word peace officer to be an exemption. And so this just clarifies the language that sheriffs would be included in this. I think flexible scheduling is very important for our law enforcement. The example would be, if they work one weekend, then they're off the next. This helps with, I think, morale and just culture within our sheriff's department. So if you all have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
We have a motion from Senator Elkins, a second from Senator Wheeler. Any questions of our presenters? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 456 passes with favorable expression 11-0. We have a motion for consent from Senator Harper Angel, a second from Senator Armstrong, Chambers Armstrong, I apologize. The hyphenateds here. All in favor of consent, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This moves to our consent agenda. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up is House Bill 513, Representative Hale's bill. Representative, welcome to our committee. If you can introduce yourselves for the record, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity this morning to be here before you to present to you House Bill 513. There is currently a commission that is comprised of 14 members. These 14 members are all appointed by our governor, the sitting governor, and their duties of this commission is to examine, supervise, and inventory all the furnishings in the executive mansion, the old governor's mansion, the Vess Lindsay house, and the state capitol building as well. And I want to just read you something real quickly. According to KRS 11.027, and this is just a short paragraph, but according to KRS 11.027, it says, "This commission shall have the final authority over articles placed in the properties and monies spent on these buildings. This commission shall develop criteria for the display of objects on or for the use of the public areas of the basement and the first and second floors of the new state capitol, and shall be consulted by the director of the Division of Historic Properties before objects are accepted for or removed from permanent display in the capitol." So, as I come before you today, what Senate Bill 513 does, it actually amends that KRS statute and would read like this: "No statue, no monument, or object of art shall be installed or removed from permanent display in the new state capitol rotunda," please remember, in the rotunda, "without the approval of the General Assembly by means of an act or joint resolution explicitly identifying and authorizing the installation or removal of the statue, the monument, or the object of art. The Commission may submit a detailed proposal to the Legislative Research Commission for referral to the appropriate interim joint committee, standing committee, but shall have no authority to add or remove from permanent display any statue, monument, or object of art from the new state capitol rotunda without prior legislative approval. If the Historic Properties Advisory Commission violates this paragraph, each member shall be jointly and severally liable for any and all costs to remove or reinstall the applicable statue, monument, or object of art in the new state capitol rotunda." That is a very simple explanation, I hope, of what House Bill 513 does.
Senator Wheeler has a question for you.
It's really more of a comment. Thank you for bringing this bill. I mean, regardless of whether you thought that the Jefferson Davis statue ought to have been removed or not, the fact that it was taken out of the rotunda in the middle of the night on a $225,000 no-bid contract awarded to one of the governor's political donors, I think should be of grave concern to every citizen of the Commonwealth, and specifically since I think that the statues that are in the rotunda represent figures that I think, or hopefully would represent figures that I think that would be prominent to all Kentuckians of all walks of life, that decision should be undertaken by the representatives of the people, which is the state legislature. I mean, I actually wish you'd gone even further. I just saw an article the other day that the University of Kentucky is trying to persist in destroying the mural in Memorial Hall that has been there since the 1920s and is considered a valuable work of art. The 21st century iconoclasts, unfortunately, know no shame or bounds, and it would be great if we could expand that to protect other public works of art that are under threat by the left, radical left in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns for the representative? If not, a motion will be in order. We have
Second.
a motion from Senator Elkins, a second from Senator Wheeler. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm. Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. And House Bill 513 passes with favorable expression, 9-2. Congratulations, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I appreciate your time this morning.
Very welcome. The final item on our agenda is House Bill 388, and as everybody's moving up to the table to testify, I will mention that we do have a sub on this, and normally my
Motion on the sub.
we have a motion and a second on the sub. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And what I was getting ready to say is that normally my rule is that we have subs in everybody's hands to read overnight. Unfortunately, if you were in the annex yesterday, you realize we lost internet service, computer service, and we were not able to get that done. So if you don't mind, before we act on this, I would like to give Representative Nemes and Senator Rocky Adams a chance to explain this bill completely and thoroughly so we all know what we have before us. So the floor is yours. If you can introduce yourselves before you start, and that'd be great.
Jason Nemes, District 33, that's Jefferson, Oldham, and Shelby counties.
Okay.
Mayor Bonnie Jung from Douglas Hills and past president of the Jefferson County League of Cities.
Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
Julie Rocky Adams, Senate District 36.
All right, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to start with just a very brief history because I know it's very busy today. A couple years ago, we passed House Bill 314, which unfroze the frozen 67C, which is the chapter that deals with Louisville, allowing it to incorporate and have annexations, which were frozen since merger 20-something years ago. And then Representative Joni Jenkins, at the time, the leader of the Democratic Party in the House, caucus in the House, made a suggestion that we put a commission together. So this is the result of the Jenkins Commission, what we have before us. It was, and I think it's important to note, it was 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, and 5 independents, all local people, all from Louisville. And this is the result of their work. So I'll go through the sections very quickly. Section 1 has the EMS services. So what we found here, this is one of the 2 biggest portions of the bill. What we have in Jefferson County is we have Louisville EMS, which is supposed to serve the entire county. All the counties, all the residents of the county pay the taxes. 2/3 of the residents in Jefferson County live outside what's called the Urban Services District. That's the old Louisville, old boundaries of Louisville. 2/3 of the citizens live out there, and over 70% of the taxes are paid outside there. And what we found is that Louisville EMS, even though it has a countywide charge and is paid countywide, makes its runs inside the Watterson, inside the USD. 17% of its runs go outside. And so what's happened because of that, Chapter 75 fire protection districts all around the county have had to include EMS services in their portfolio, thereby obviously charging, again, a second charge for that service, the citizens, so that you pay anywhere from 4 to 10 cents extra on your $100 of property. For example, PRP is an extra 10 cents. Middletown Anchorage is an extra 6 cents. And St. Matthews Linden, if you know kind of where Louisville is, you probably know where the mall is. 60% of the runs that St. Matthews Linden makes goes inside USD, outside their jurisdiction, where no taxpayers are paying for those services. So what we've done in Section 1 is we've said we don't want to upset the apple cart too much. The recommendation of the commission was that we make it a 4th USD service. So fire, light, and garbage are paid extra by only the people who live in the USD. And the recommendation was to make EMS another service, but the mayor has said, please don't do that yet, maybe not ever at all, because we can afford it as a city, and we're Louisvillians first, and so we want to make sure that we don't hurt our city. So what we've suggested is if they make a run and they arrive, it's a $150 reimbursement from Louisville to the Chapter 75 providing the EMS service, and if they actually make the transport, then it's $300, and that has a CPI index, so it'll go up. What we want to incentivize is Louisville EMS to do its job within the old city limits. Even saying you don't have to do your job outside the city limits. We wish you would, but we know that's a big stretch right now. So that's what we've done there. That's Section 1 sub 5. Section 1 sub 6. The background here is because the urban services district for years, for 20 years, they've always said we pay for ourselves and then we subsidize the county. So we thought that was wrong, and people who lived outside USD. So we had an audit, and lo and behold, we subsidized them to the tune of $15 million of about, it was 14.8 or something like that last year, out of a whole of about 81. So we significantly subsidized these USD services. So I want to make it zero. I think it's wrong that people who live in Fern Creek have to pay the garbage for people and light and electric. Thank you. And fire, light, and garbage. If they're not entitled to get it, but we're paying for it. And so that I think is wrong, and we should zero that out immediately. Again, because we're trying to work with Louisville and make sure that our city is not harmed too much. What we've done in section 1 sub 6 is we've said for the next 3 years, they only have to pay 85%. So it'll be subsidized 15%. For the next 3 years after that, then they have to pay 90%. So we're going to subsidize 10%. Again, we're not getting any of these services. We're not legally allowed to get any of these services. And then for the next 3 years, then they're going to pay 95%. So we'll subsidize 5%, 15, 10, 5. And then by 2034, they've got to pay the full freight. I think that's overly generous, but that's what we've done in section 1 sub 6. Section 2 talks about incorporations and annexations. As I've said, we have unfrozen it in Louisville, and we want to make it not easy. So we've said it requires 75% of the voters, or the number of voters who have voted in the last presidential election, to sign a petition to want to incorporate, if you want to incorporate a city. We've heard a lot, I want to say, that Louisville has a lot of cities. We have 81 cities in Louisville. That is no more cities per capita than the rest of the state has. So when you look at the population, it's appropriate. And if you want to get in a fight in Louisville, just the quickest way to get in a fight, go to a city, Middletown, Douglas Hills, and tell their residents you're going to take their city away from them. You better run fast, because you just got to fight. We really respect our suburban cities. Same thing for annexation. If you want to annex property, we're requiring 75% rule there. Also, with respect to that, we want to make sure that suburban areas are not grabbing for money only. And so we say that you're not going to be able to annex Ford or UPS or anything of that nature. So that is in section 2. Subsection 3. So we wanted to protect Louisville and protect those companies from that type of behavior. Section 3 is a board appointments. What we found, Mr. Chairman, is when you appoint boards, all the appointments come inside the Watterson. I understand that for some reason. I understand the reason, but 2/3 of our residents live outside the county, and over 70% of our taxes are paid by residents that live outside the county. They're entitled to be at the table when taxes and fees are decided.
Excuse me, outside the Watterson, not outside the county.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. It's a big correction there. Even though we have nobody in the top 7 members of Jefferson County of Louisville, but other counties do in their top 7 officials. So back to the point. Thank you. I won't call you Dad. Thank you, Senator. So the point is, when we have a board that's appointed, we want to make it geographically diverse. What the worst that we've had is MSD is required to be geographically diverse and party diverse. No more 10 members of the board. No more than 5, 8 members of the board, no more than 5 can be of one political party. So you know what happened. Louisville's a Democrat town. I have no beef with that. 5 of the appointments are Democrats. The other 3, they're independents, 2 of which changed their party the month before they got elected. The other one, although he's independent, he's a Deputy Secretary of Justice for Governor Beshear. I have no problems with that, but that's gaming the system. So what we want is diversity in the board appointments so our taxpayers can be appropriately represented. Sections 4 through 6 has generated the most controversy in Frankfort. But I want to say this board, again, 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, 5 independents, voted 11-2 to make Louisville mayor and council nonpartisan. 11-2. Both of the Democrats on council and the Republican on council, but both of the Democrats on council voted to go nonpartisan. The only 2 people who voted to go partisan are members of this General Assembly in the Democratic Party, but the vote was 11-2. Again, 5 Republican, 5 Democrat, 5 independent on this group. So that's the partisan nature, going to nonpartisan like our friends in Lexington. I would say the top 20 most populous cities in the country, top 30 of them, 22 of them are nonpartisan. And of all the 400 plus cities we have in Kentucky, only 8 are partisan, including Louisville. Section 7, you get the point where I'm going here generally. This has to do with road funds. So when the county is divvying out road funds for new development. Now, I'm not talking about just repaving, but for new development, money they get from the state and other places. We say that they have to consider 3 things: population growth, because all of the growth in Jefferson County, all of it, is outside of the Watterson. We're trying to reverse course there. I think our mayor is doing a good job with that. We support our mayor's efforts on that. But all of the growth is outside the suburbs, but we don't get our fair share when it comes to road funds. So you have to look at population growth, population density, because it is important that we also support all of the county, including especially the downtown business district. But you also look at economic development potential. That's section 7. Sections 8 through 10 is a LMPD police bill of rights. All it does there is it mirrors for LMPD, which does not have a bill of rights like every other police department in the state has. So it mirrors for Louisville police officers what we have already for the rest of the state. That's 8 through 10. Section 11 is a PVA review. What we're doing here, and I'm hoping that we're wrong. One of our members of the commission had a hunch, and her hunch was that your property is going to be valued assessed based on where your property is in the county. So what does the law say? The law says if you have a $100,000 property, it doesn't matter, Representative or Senator, it doesn't matter where in the county it is. If it's valued at assessed at $100,000 or sold for $100,000, the statutes say our goal is to get it between 90 and 110%. 90,000, 110,000 in my hypothetical. What we're finding is where the house is throughout the community is what your assessment is, whether it's 60% of the value or whether it's 100% of the value. And so I'm hoping that I'm wrong. What we did is just a quick study of 5 districts. We have 5 areas. We have 9 areas in Louisville. We did a quick study and we found that those are some pretty significant deviations there based on where your home is. So casting no aspersions. If it is true, if it's not true, great. If it is true, why and how can we fix it? Not place blame, but how can we fix it? That is section 11. Section 12 is the makeup of council. And so some places, like our friends in Lexington, have at-large members. And in Louisville, we have 26 members. Maybe that's not enough. I don't know anybody saying that, but maybe it's too many. Maybe we ought to have an odd number. I don't know. Maybe we should have at-large numbers. So we're taking a look at that to see if that a change in the makeup of council might be beneficial to our citizens in Jefferson County. That's section 12. Section 13 is a local development code. We have needs in Louisville. We have 30,000. We need 30,000 affordable units. And we also have places like in Eastwood where we have some pretty significant environmental concerns. And a lot of people think, pretty much everybody thinks, that we don't do a good job balancing those types of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the pause button for a moment, and we're going to see what should the development code, land development code, look like in Louisville to have appropriate development in appropriate places, but not go too far, but go far enough. That's section 13. Section 14 through, section 14 has to do with when these are effective. So the nonpartisan races are effective January 1st, 2025. So not this time, but they would be effective next time. We've cleared that through the mayor that's not an objection there. And then the last section makes with respect to the PVA commission effective immediately, so we can go ahead and get appointments together, and they can make the report back to the General Assembly. That's the bill, Mr. Chairman, or the committee sub, and we'd like to answer the questions.
Very good. We have a motion from Senator Wheeler and a second from Senator Nemes. We have 3 people lined up with questions or comments. First is Senator Nemes.
Yes, thank you,
Dad.
Son. And Mayor Jung and Senator Adams. Question, you want to make the mayor nonpartisan like the rest of the state in the bill. Now, if the state makes a law to make the rest of the state partisan, what will the metro do?
I think that the rule ought to be the same for Louisville in that circumstance.
So
I hope my friend, the senator from Scott, is listening.
So what you're trying to do is make it same as the state, period. Okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
And I've heard, Mr. Chairman, that the senator from Bullitt has adopted some new children, and I'm not his favorite anymore. So,
Senator Thayer.
Well, speaking of his favorite adopted son.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Couple things. First of all, I would like to know if my very good friend Senator Adams has anything to add on this, because Representative Nemes, you may be the only person in this room who can talk faster than me and put together more sentences without punctuation than anyone I know. So I just want to make sure that my good friend doesn't have anything to add.
No, I think that Representative Nemes did a great job. And truly, merger's been 20 plus years. I think this was a really good way to take a hard look at what's working and what's not working, and have the courage to take care of the things that aren't working, and have that honest conversation. And so this has been, I think, a really tremendous exercise for the taxpayers of Louisville.
A follow-up, if I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Representative Nemes, you know I despise nonpartisan elections, and I'm not thrilled with what I consider a regression here on going to nonpartisan races. But however, it was Voltaire who said, "Do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good," and I think this is a good bill. And other than that one little piece, that one little word that I'm not thrilled with, because I think all elections should be partisan, I'm going to support the bill, because I think what I like is the collaboration that I've seen. Senator Adams has kept me up to date on this all session, and I think it's really good self-determination by the citizens of Louisville, so I plan to support it, and really good work on it.
Senator Chambers Armstrong has a question or comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And first off, Representative, I want to thank you for your work on this. I know that you have had a lot of meetings and you've had an open door policy for people who have concerns. And I really respect the process and the fact that you've listened to everyone. And I believe made changes in the bill to respond to that. And so really appreciate that. The question that I am hearing most from my constituents is about the process for changing from partisan to nonpartisan. People are saying, hey, the people of Louisville voted for partisan elections. Why aren't we voting to make them nonpartisan? Could you help me understand why the process is different?
Yeah, let me tell you why we're doing it first. And I'm going to answer your question directly, Senator. So in Louisville, it's a big area. There's 600,000 plus people. And with a partisan election, all you have to do is win the primary inside the Watterson. And so we want whoever our mayor is to, and I'm assuming it's going to be a Democrat every time, if not almost every time. Almost every time, if not every time. We want our mayor to have to go to Fern Creek and get votes, have to understand the traffic concerns in Valley Station, understand the environmental concerns in Eastwood, or even know how to get to Eastwood. Those are the kinds of things that we need in our mayor, we believe. So I want them to hunt votes all around the county. And if you have to hunt votes all around the county, then you're going to care about our schools and our neighborhood places and our libraries all around the county. Our former mayor, this new mayor, is doing a much better job, and we very much support what he's about and what he's trying to accomplish. Our former mayor gave me 3 road plans. 29 roads total in those 3 road plans. One of them was outside the Watterson. If he had to hunt votes in Middletown, he'd had a road in Middletown. But he didn't have to have a road in Middletown. He didn't have to care or even know about where Harrods Creek is. And so this addresses that concern. Your question of how we do this. So Mayor Abramson came, our former Mayor Abramson, Mayor for Life. Everybody knows and loves Mayor Abramson. He came at our first meeting, or maybe it was the second meeting. And we said, tell us about merger. Why did it happen? And he said the main reason was because Lexington had just merged and we wanted to be bigger. Louisville did not vote to go partisan or nonpartisan. The General Assembly required in 67C that Louisville go partisan. There has been a suggestion to let Louisville have a vote on whether or not we go partisan. I don't know that we're about that kind of thing in Kentucky, but if we're going to do that, then I want to put merger back on the ballot. And let me suggest to you, the outcome may well be different. As we went all around the county, all around the community, we went to the West End, the Highlands, the South End, the East End. We had 8 meetings, I think it was. There was one unifying thing. Merger's not working for me. No matter where I live, merger's not working. And so I don't think we want to put things back to the citizens on that. I strongly support merger, but it needs to be improved. And this is one of the things that I think will significantly improve the overall governance of the county.
Thank you for the answer. I'm going to be a no on the legislation, but I really appreciate the time and effort and the process you've gone through. Thank you.
Senator.
Okay, our final question is Senator Mace Bledsoe.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you both for your work. Being from the first county to have merged government 50 years ago this year, we're celebrating that, and we've never done the overhaul that you all have done. In fact, when you all started that process, we've been watching very closely because, as you know, as we're 50 years or 20 years, it changes immensely. What worked then, what we thought about then is different. Explaining to people that Lexington is merged on a different KRS than Louisville compared to everybody else is an education process, if you will. One of the things that I think we did right was starting nonpartisan. And I think that has been to the benefit of the people in Fayette County and something we hold pretty tight and dear, if you will, to who we are. That being said, is our at-large in district, does it work all the time? Maybe, maybe not. Trying to figure out districts and how we pay and do taxes is challenging. But I really applaud the work and how much you have done to address the complexity of the issue and try to find some resolution. And so I'm highly supportive of what you're doing, and I think you may find us doing a similar kind of overlook to say, are we still doing what we intended to do? And are we still providing good services to the taxpayers we represent? And that is what you're trying to do, and have good representation. So I applaud the effort, and I'll support it. Thank you.
Very good. And we have a motion and a second before the body on this piece of legislation. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Nemes,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler,
Aye.
Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
I vote aye, and I want to congratulate you on the work that y'all have done on this. And this was an important piece of legislation. It was a good investment of our committee's time to hear all the work that's been done. I think it was all done properly, and I want to congratulate you on a 9-2 passing with favorable expression vote in our committee, and this will move on to the Senate floor.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you. Pause for the comma. Mr. Chairman.
All right. This is not our last meeting, but we'll stand adjourned.